This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everybody. So I've said this before. We've all got stuff going on. Whether you want to realize it or not, accept it or not, it's called trauma. It's called things that happened in our past that you might not even be aware of, you might not even remember, came from your childhood, or, wait for it, woo-woo alert, came from those in your family that are no longer here. I'm talking from many generations back, too. Emotional trauma, how do we release it? We're going to talk about that today. It might surprise you what we're gonna dig into today. She is a holistic health practitioner. She is certified in nutrition, response testing, so many different modalities, and this is one of them. Harnessing the power of energy to help others. Claire Boye is back with us. How you doing today?
Steve, doing pretty well.
Good to have you back here. You run deep in a lot of this, but I love the fact that you make it easy to understand, because I know it's, a little woo-woo for some, but once you start, as I say, connect the dots to why we act the way we do, why we feel the way we do, to things in our past, it almost comes clear. So when we talk about releasing emotional, maybe we call them traumas or emotional situations, what exactly are we talking about here?
Well, we're talking about the fact that when you go through something traumatic, our body energetically holds on to that until you do something to release it. Now, what that can mean generally is that your vibration is just reduced because shock, grief, anger, all of those vibrations are very low. So literally what can happen, just imagine that your body is getting microwaved continuously. Your body literally has that vibration within itself. And as a result, generally you are also sadder, or it's easy to be sad because you already have that vibration resonating in your body. So that can make, traversing and navigating your own personal life more mercurial, right? So what I've encountered with doing work with all the people I've seen in my clinical practice is that if you have some of those traumas, especially if they're your own personal traumas, then it also makes it higher to make you feel better, because health and vitality is actually a higher vibration. So if you still have that vibration of trauma in you, then it makes it harder for you to heal. Right? So I've had to, by necessary means, figure out how to help people work through trauma, even if they are in talk therapy, even if they've been in talk therapy since they've been a child. Sometimes that does not do enough to release it, because literally the act of talking does help us release. But you can think of breathing through a straw or breathing without restriction, right? So the talk therapy can sometimes just let a little bit out at a time and not enough. Now, how can people have too much that they can't just do some talk therapy and release it? So this is where epigenetics comes in. And this just means, epi means all, and of course genetics means that. But it's through the family line. If someone has had trauma that they too have not released at the time, it just gets passed on. And so what can happen is that 3, 4, 5, 6 generations of someone not releasing their traumas, now your bucket load is almost full, and that's what you're starting with, because that never got released.
Wow. It's almost like I want to think, thanks, Grandpa. That's where it came from. But we don't even know. How do we know that we may be carrying generational trauma? Would you even know?
Well, the easy way is you're like, why is this making me so upset? And I had no experience with that. You don't understand why something bothers you so much or why you got so sad just because you saw a little caterpillar on the ground and someone might walk on it. Like it's nonsensical. So when you cannot understand where something comes from, more than likely it's epigenetics in play, ancestral.
So, would I have this right? Let's say you're going through your day, your life, and things are okay. It's all right. Maybe it's not the perfect life you want, but it's okay. And I would assume that you're vibrating at a higher frequency, and then something comes up. Maybe it's a situation, call it a trigger, and now you feel like you've been pulled down. And
Right. Yeah.
is that the negative vibration that's within you that got maybe amplified from that
Yeah.
situation, that trigger, and that could almost overtake the positive vibration that you were, doing your day with?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm,
So it's called exactly what you say, a trigger. It was just something that filled the bucket that was already mostly full. And then it's harder to recover sometimes too. So just like I was saying, like, why did that just send me into such a spiral? It doesn't
mm,
make sense. It was just a bad day at work, but now I'm in the bed. Yeah.
mm.
Because if you think about it, like if we really think that we came from this hunter gatherer type, ancestry, it's like some people had to work just to have basic food, something over their head. We've got roofs over our heads. We've got grocery stores. We've got, public transport. It's not that rough for you to have a bad day pushing buttons on a computer and now you can't get out of bed.
This is what I'm getting in terms of visual. That
Mm-hmm.
trauma that could have come from your childhood or maybe another generation. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like a little ember burning, just a little
Yes.
tiny, glow of a light within you. And I don't mean in a
Mm-hmm.
positive way. Sometimes you have a little glow of light. I feel, but it's just sitting there. And then that trigger
Mm-hmm.
comes up, and that's like gasoline. And it got thrown on that little ember that negative vibration was in you, and now
Exactly. An
it
explosion.
erupted. Yeah, into
Exactly.
something big. And then that
Mm-hmm.
that took you down until
Mm-hmm.
maybe time, a day or two, and now the
Yeah.
fire went down, but it's still burning. It's still burning
Yeah.
until you energetically eradicate it or snuff it out.
Until I come in, right. Until I come in and just take the ember away completely.
Yeah. Wow. Hmm.
So it's very powerful work. Um, and it's very needed because I feel like most people don't have access or do not have as much. And people now call it woo. It used to be the norm to be more spiritual, right? It used to be the norm to be more energetically aware. It used to be the norm to like trust your intuition, and that's how you navigated your life. But now it seems like it's on the outs. So now it's called like, oh my gosh, you're doing that strange stuff. I'm like, yeah. Well, actually, that stuff is still needed. Some people need that kind of work. So
Hmm.
I'm bringing it back.
Well, fortunately, many of us are having call it a type of awakening where we're realizing what's going on, why we feel what we do, how this energy work can support us and change things. So, what's the starting point? How do you figure out what somebody's dealing with? Is it through just conversation and looking at it that way? And then from that point, what do you do? What do you do to release that ember, that trauma?
Yeah. So I'm really trying to think if I have all the pictures on my website or not, but I'm just going to give you a visual. What I actually do is I look at the whole biofield of someone. That means all the energy fields around someone. If you can understand, a magnet has a field to it, an inanimate object. People have a vibration, and so we have a field around us as well. So the way that I understand what is going on with someone and if they need that type of emotional work is to look at that part of the biofield. There's literally a body called the emotional body. So if that particular layer of your energetic field needs some support, then that's when I know that I need to do some work to help support it. Um, I start very simply because generally people are coming in and they need to get some kind of foundation. And I happen to utilize essential oils because that is just a really effective way of activating things in the brain to help get things balanced out. So basically, I'm just looking at the field. I figure out if it's imbalanced, if it's the emotional body, and then I do something to help support that body.
Essential oils.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. Can any of us at least start on this? Because I've never heard essential oils supporting this. Never. And I love them. I got them at home. I use them.
Well, so I actually use a particular line, like, but if you know that what you're using came from the field directly, it's not been through any interesting processes, probably going to be effective. What I use is really, really pure. Like, if anyone smells it, it's like, wow, that really smells like condensed coriander. Like, wow, that was really thyme. Actually, I love this one called lime. But anyway, really, because I have these pure oils that this work is able to be done with the oils. So, but generally, we kind of heard about some of the ones that do help calmness, like lavender,
Mm-hmm.
like frankincense. I mean, that's even biblical, right?
Yep.
They talk about frankincense and myrrh. Those are grounding oils, and they also help us to breathe.
So
So
while we're at
that's
this
really
juncture, so basic question:
Mhm.
if we're, we know, let's say you've connected the dots, situation in your childhood, and you're still feeling it occasionally. Things pop up, right? You've got a good
Mhm.
awareness of what's going on, right? Um,
Mhm.
would it be a good idea to use essential oils to maybe ground you? Like you talk about lavender and frankincense.
Yeah.
Would that be a good starting point? Because I have them. I don't use them a lot, but maybe I should. Maybe I should. And
Yeah.
they're organic. I have to assume that
Well,
they're.
do you feel like you're working through something? Yeah. So I would say the oils help to release. The grounding is separate, and that helps you to put that somewhere. It helps you put it in a safe place so it doesn't come back onto you. So it's really a two-step process. You release and then you put it somewhere. So that's grounding, right? You got to be connected to something that can actually hold what you've let go. So that's the earth, right? Think about how big the earth is compared to us.
Why is grounding so important? I know it is important, and it supports us in many ways. But I'm hearing it at like a whole new level with you, Claire,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of dealing with emotional release. So there's many different ways to ground. We can talk about that as well. How does that help with what we're talking about?
Well, it helps to complete the circuit, really. So if we understand that we are an energetic being, then we actually need to be anchored, right? So things actually know where to go. So if we're releasing, we don't want it to release and just circulate on us. We need to anchor so it can release into something that can hold what we are letting go. So that's the earth.
Hmm. Yeah, it's coming clearer. And I'm a geek when it comes to electricity, electronics have always been. But yes, you are
Mm-hmm.
right. You need to ground an electrical circuit if you want to even
Mm-hmm.
have a circuit, and to make things happen. Um, John Me never thought of it in those terms because what are we talking about? It is energy. What is, electric? It is energy. Um, it seems reasonable that it's all got to get grounded. I never even thought of it that way.
Yeah, and so actually that takes me to I recommend to people all the time wear barefoot shoes, like the really thin soled shoes, so
Hmm.
you can actually, when you're walking, when you're running, connect to the ground. So the ones that
Yep.
have the thick foams and yeah, all that, yeah, that doesn't help us.
I am I'm sitting, but my feet are on a grounding mat right now that goes
Hmm.
to the ground lug on the electrical outlet. $20. You're not going to get a shock because that's the ground, and it goes
Hmm.
literally through a copper pipe, a copper wire to a copper pipe to the ground. as do trees. You can hug a tree, and that's another way that you can get grounded. Um, I get all that, but I want to, get a better idea of how this can help somebody if they're dealing with releasing emotion and energy. How does that, if you want to release it, you always have to be grounded. Am I right in saying that?
To properly release it, yes.
Okay. Fair enough. Wow.
Well, I would say, it's also, to be fair, you don't want to release it to someone else either. Like, we know we have walked into a room like, oh, this feels a little bit off. And literally, people are releasing left and right. And that's what you're feeling. So let's just say that's your story. And you're like around that kind of thing all the time. You don't want other people's things either. You want to release theirs. So it's important not only to release your own, but anyone else's or anything else's that you picked up as you were navigating your daily life.
Wow. Okay. So I've always said what you just said, like, and it's real. Like you walk into, a gathering, a party, you're invited, right? And you walk into that room and you're like, things feel kind of heavy around here. I don't know. I'm going to just say I got a text and I got to leave early. Or on the reverse, you go in and you're like, wow, this just feels good. This is a nice little vibe. I'm going to hang out, get me a drink, talk with some people. This is fun. But here's the thing. I just thought it was collective negative or positive energy in the room. I never knew that is energy being released. And now it makes more sense. Oh, all right. So brings us to the question. You went to that party. You got that negative vibe. Want to get out of there pretty soon. How do you deflect or protect from that negative energy?
When people are working with me, I give people different tools to work with. But every day, people have the same routine. You ground, you release all the things that are not yours or yours that you don't need to have. If you're at the party and you're just like, I'm not so sure about that, you can literally just step out, release some things, ground, and then go back.
Okay. All right. So it is grounding as the magic, the deflector. Okay. Because sometimes you're in a situation and it just doesn't feel right, but you're stuck there. You can't leave. Yeah. You can certainly maybe walk outside or walk into the bathroom and touch the pipe because it goes to the ground.
No, I actually have an affirmation that people can say.
Okay. Oh, all right.
You don't have to worry about finding the pipes or the trees or anything like that if you don't have easy access. You can just read the affirmation and you will do it.
Can you share that?
I can. My original one.
My affirmation is get me out of here in that situation. Please, somebody text me now.
I know. Okay. I will read it. It will be interesting. But it is tried and true. Here we go. I'm just going to pull one up.
Yeah, we've all been in that situation. And even the affirmation, I guess you could put it on your phone and look down.
That's exactly what I have people do. I'm like, put it in your digital calendar so it pops up and you don't have to try to remember. It's right there. Okay, here it goes. All right. Because we ground through this organ called the spleen, which is one of my critical organs that I look for helping people, because that's the one that's most impacted when we ground. It literally helps to change the geometrical shape of blood cells. Like, they've done experiments. You can see these videos online. I'll share one of those maybe. Okay, here's a grounding statement. All of my secret spleens are rooted in Mother Earth. This combined intertwinement flows through my root chakra and is ignited by my Kundalini energy to anchor at the center of Earth.
So basically, you're saying, ground me. It's really what it is.
Mother Earth, help me.
Yes.
Release this.
Wow. I have to ask you, Claire, and you work with people, you help heal them energetically in many other holistic ways. How do you protect yourself? Let's say you in in the morning, you work with three people, whatever. How do you like release all of that?
I do the same thing for myself.
Yeah.
So I actually have affirmations and prayers that I say to make sure that I have a great protective field around myself. And then that way things bounce off of me and stay that way so I can work on someone else.
Okay. So, by the way, this is a mind blow for me, knowing that people are releasing negative energy. I don't know why I didn't put that together when you're in a situation like, again, back to that example of the party where I just thought it was everybody's collective energy was kind of low vibration. I never even thought that you're sending negative energy out. Of course, it makes total sense. That's how you're receiving it. They're transmitting it. You're receiving it. Would it also be impactful if you just think positive vibration? Like, and I'm going to give you an example here, and this is my test for how this works. I will go somewhere, go to the gym. I've tested this many times. And as I'm walking in, I'll say, raise your vibration, positive energy, raise it up. I'm just thinking, raise it up. I'm not doing anything different other than thinking that. And it's a pretty big gym. So you're walking down the main section and then you go where you want to go. I'll see the same people pass by. When I do that, they look and they smile and they're like, "Hey, how you doing? How's it going? How you doing?" It's the weirdest. I'm not doing anything there. I'm not like, I don't have like a cheesy grin on, like, and everybody's, smiling back.
No.
It's weirdly amazing. I just think it, and people, I guess, pick up on the positive vibration and they're feeling it.
Yeah. And then when you feel positivity, you want to smile, you want to interact, you want to actually communicate, you want to be involved. Yeah.
You want to,
versus being like, oh, I'm in my shell and I'm suffering kind of situation.
It's like, I don't want to deal with that. Yeah. I'm not minimizing anybody's pain and suffering, but many of us, I don't, that's, unless I'm going to help you, you got your thing going on. I got my thing going on. Maybe I don't want to deal with that today.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Pretty amazing how it works. Wow.
Yep. So we can be antennas, positive antennas.
Yeah.
But what you also want is not only to have to intentionally think about it, but naturally. So that's what I really work to help people with. It's just naturally be a higher vibration.
Yep.
Then once they decide to amplify it by positive thoughts, wow, watch out, world.
But herein lies the challenge. If you've got emotional trauma, and again, it's, I get visual. So the visual for me is you're swimming in the water of positivity. It's all good. It's all good. That trigger comes up, emotional trauma. It's like
and
the
chains.
You're like you're underwater. Exactly. It's like, get me back up here. Get me back up. But unless you ground, unless you do some of the techniques or work with somebody like you, not really. You're always going to have a chain on you. That's going to be the challenge. Yeah. Wow. Learned a lot today. Got to tell you. Very interesting, Claire. How do we find you? I know that you offer a free consult. How do we just even start the conversation?
It's simple. You can either text our office line number, which is 847-350-9697. You can also call that number, or you can just go online and schedule your free 10-minute consult. And at that consult, I'll just we'll talk about what issues you're trying to work through, and I'll let you know if it's anywhere within my wheelhouse. But generally, pretty much everything that's chronic in someone's body.
I'm learning that every time we get together. And today even more. And I've been studying this, I don't run super deep, but I got a pretty good understanding. But you took it to new territory, new levels today. And for that, I thank you and appreciate it. And look forward next time we get together. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
We'll be right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.